Hello, Alessandrina here with Dexter and Alessandrina. And today I'm going to talk about clearing negative emotions. So, the first step to being able to actually clear our negative emotions is not to be identified with them. To realize that when we feel anger, when we feel resentment, when we feel hatred, when we feel sadness, when we feel any which way that we feel, it is not it is us who are experiencing it, and it's not defining us. Our anger is not us. We are not our anger. And ultimately understanding that and accepting that can bring about forgiveness, and the understanding itself can also help you to look at the negative emotion so that you can understand it truly. So oftentimes what happens is most people are stuck in a cycle of judging themselves for their negative emotions. For instance, if we feel angry, we might essentially not resonate with the self-image of being an angry person, as if there was such a thing, as if someone was always angry. And you may have heard like, oh, this person is always angry, because that might be an emotion that they cultivate a lot. So they might feel something, and as a result of whatever it is that they're fearing, really what it is, it's a fear, it's triggering anger in them. And I'm not going to go into the details of that, because today I really want to give you a process, like a little meditation, to clear negative emotions. So the first step is not to judge it, to understand it, to accept it, to not be identified with it. And if you have difficulty doing that, you can apply a process like, for instance, the forgive and forget process that we teach, or the Ho'oponopono mantra that we also teach. And by applying this process, it can help you to liberate some of the energy, so some of the emotional charge. Because when you're in the emotion, it can feel difficult to just say, oh, I'm not going to judge this, or, I'm not going to feel bad about this. You can kind of like be, stuck in the emotion and then reacting in judgment to the emotion. So once you've done that, or so both work. So if it's really too charged, then just do a forgiveness practice that will help you to liberate some energy. If you're like charged and at the same time you can kind of like stay grounded and say, okay, I'm feeling angry right now, then one of the process that you can apply, and we can do it right now, we can use anger, because we're going to do a mantra to also clear the energy of anger. So once the energy has been triggered, it's now in your system. So you can sit and you can say, you can close your eyes right now. And let's say, again, it might be another emotion for you. So whatever it is, if you let yourself feel whatever emotion you are feeling, sadness, anger, resentment, hatred, depression, dejection, guilt, shame, whatever you feel. And you might find that your mind is trying to wiggle out of being with the emotion, and you're starting to, think. Trying to think your way out of the emotion. That's what we do when we think. We try to think our way out of our feelings and emotions. And of course, it can't work, because in the energy of the feeling or emotion, you're going to have thoughts that are of the same, essentially, frequency, of the same vibration. So that doesn't work. We can't think our way out of an emotion or a feeling. We can think our way into suppressing it or repressing it or distracting away from it. That said, that's not a process of resolution. So just stay with it. Stay with what you're feeling. And if you'll start by saying, I am my feeling of, and whatever it is that you're feeling, I am my feeling of anger. I am my feeling of anger. Now remember, a moment ago I said, to not identify. So here we're kind of identifying with it, with the feeling. That said, it doesn't mean that it's not I am angry. We're not revalidating the energy. We're simply saying, I am my feeling of anger. So whatever we're thinking and projecting onto any situation is leading to the anger or to the emotion that you're feeling right now. So you are that. It's not that you are anger, it's that you are your feeling of anger, or I am my anger. I am my anger, or I am my feeling of anger. And by repeating this statement, you're really getting in touch with the energy of this emotion and where it stems from, where it originates from. So for instance, someone can be fearing being out of control in a situation, fearing a certain essentially situation that they don't want to experience, and they can feel angry. It leads them to feel angry because they feel out of control. And when they feel anger, they feel now that they're powerful. Now their anger, the energy that they feel when they're angry, that's giving them power. Of course it doesn't. And it can feel like that. So I am my feeling of anger. I am my feeling of anger. Sitting with it, feeling it. Realizing it's simply energy. It's not what collectively we've essentially judged and recorded that it's bad and wrong, and people who are angry are bad and wrong. It's just a feeling, it's just an emotion. And ultimately, it's simply an energy in motion, an energy that's moving through us, not us. And so as this feeling of anger is moving through you, or whatever other feeling you're choosing to work on right now, as you accept it, as you understand it, as you learn to trace it back, well, when did it start? What was the trigger? The trigger is not a person or a thing per se. It's really a fear. The fear of someone mistreating us, the fear of people not caring about us, the fear of not being loved, the fear of being taken advantage of, the fear of being betrayed, the fear of not being heard, not being seen, the fear of being hurt, the fear of being out of control. Whatever fear it might be, can be a different fear. It's still going to bring up, for some people, depends, for other people can be also sadness. So the anger as a control strategy, I am my feeling of anger, and sitting with it. And realizing it's all imagination, that you don't need to get angry to get results. That you don't need to get angry for things to be the way that you want them to be. I am my feeling of anger. Let yourself feel it viscerally, where you feel it in your body. Watching it change as you say, I am my feeling of anger, or I am my anger. Watching it transform and transmute. Maybe there's visuals for you, maybe you hear things, you remember things. Just allow for all this to come up, because what you're doing right now is you're liberating the old energy. You're liberating the addiction to your emotion, the addiction to anger, the addiction to sadness, the addiction to anything that you're feeling right now. I am my feeling of anger. Surrendering this feeling. Choosing by surrendering it, by liberating the old energy, to have a new experience. A more constructive, supportive, beneficial experience that can actually help you get the results that you want. Even if for you you've seen anger modeled by adults around you, parents maybe, people in the collective consciousness, and maybe you've registered in your system, oh, if I get angry, I'll get what I want. Well, surely feeling angry is not what you want. I am my feeling of anger. I am my feeling of anger. feeling of anger. And maybe you notice that on a scale of 1 to 10, if you started at a 10 or a 9 or an 8, maybe now you're at a 3 or a 2 or a 1. And it depends. It can be different for different people. Sometimes, especially if you're addicted to the feeling of anger, the emotion of anger, it can kind of stick around more. It can feel like, oh, I'm not going to let go of that. I need that to be safe. That's my control strategy. I get what I want when I'm angry, which is not true. Even if it looks like it is. Even if temporarily you seem to get your way when you get angry, and then you feel shame, guilt, you feel poorly, your body is out of balance, the chemistry in your body is off, your hormones get affected, your stress level get affected, your heart rate gets affected. And of course, as your body chemistry changes and the body function changes, it also changes your thoughts, your brain waves, how you feel, whether you're contracted or open. So surely getting angry, for instance, is not beneficial. So as you surrender your anger, if you're finding it difficult using this statement, for instance, you can also once again come back to the Ho'oponopono mantra. You can say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Talking to that part of you that feels angry, or talking to the anger itself. Loving, accepting, forgiving, and feeling grateful for it because it's a great teacher. It points to our fears. Our negative emotions point to our fears. They teach us to look inward for the solution to our negative emotions. When we stay with them, when we accept them, when we love them, when we forgive them, when we're actually appreciative of them and their teachings, then there's great liberation from that. So this is a simple practice. I had said I would do the Kroda, the mantra to release anger. I will do that another time. I feel that it's better to keep those short meditations, just 10 minutes or 15 minutes, so that they're feasible for more people, and also so that you can integrate them and you can practice them daily. Because the more you practice, whatever practice you choose, to clear a negative emotion, to clear your negative thoughts, to release your fears, the more you're going to start to change your subconscious mind. When it becomes very long practice, for some people it's not something that they can do, it's not something that they can commit to, and therefore there's not as much potential for each person individually to grow and to heal and to evolve, and also as a collective. The more people can do this, the more people can spend 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, clearing their negative thoughts and emotions and releasing their fears, the more the planet is going to rise its vibration, is going to be essentially facilitated into us making more conscious, loving, wise, discerning choices. And so that's going to benefit everyone. So I will do a separate meditation for the mantra, the Kroda mantra. And I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you can see that there is a path to resolving negative thoughts, negative emotions, and that you practice it, and that you see a difference in your life. I know for myself and for Dexter that those practices have been tremendously helpful and supportive of our process of growth, learning, healing, and so I wanted to share that with you. Sending you lots of love.